God, what the fuck was that? It's like a fucking whistle. It was like a gym whistle.
It sounded like a fire alarm to me.
Yeah, holy shit. That sounded like a sound effect. That didn't even sound like a vocal.
Joey on the real soundboard.
Yeah, Joey on Foley over here.
All the sounds that ever come from a cartoon are actually
welcome,
me.
welcome to the Joystick Show.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to go off of that.
Yeah.
I can make another sound.
Yeah, go. Yeah,
There you go.
All right.
I like the first one better. He was even doing a sound before this. It was freaking Dylan out. Some like grudge ass.
You want to
shit.
hear that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
I don't like that either.
I like to think of it like a clicker from Last of Us or some like giant crab.
All right. Well, this is the Joystick Show. I don't. We usually don't do that.
Joey with the horror sound hour.
I'll tell you what we do over here. I'll tell you what we do here at Joystick. At the Joystick Show, we entertain you and we educate you for about 40 to 60 minutes every week, unless there's a snowstorm, COVID, or some schoolwork that
some
we
other type of thing that will delay
some other
us.
prior commitment that
Once what's the average? Every 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, we
take
pretty
a
good,
break?
actually.
Yeah.
And it's not even a break. Like, we just can't do the fucking show.
Big old whoopsie on our part. Yeah.
Whoops. And it'd be fuck me, I can't even speak. It's been a while since I flubbed one of these. It'd be a great help if you could subscribe to the Team Joystick YouTube channel and like this episode of the Joystick Show, because you know,
clicks, maybe?
It makes us feel good, you know. Before we start today's episode, it'd be really helpful if you could go ahead, leave a comment, tell me what your favorite band of all time is. Okay.
Oh shit.
Your favorite band could be current band. Could be an older band. Could be a band that hasn't even come out yet.
Rubber bands?
Take a guess, okay? Yeah. Just roll the dice. The Black Spatulas. They're going to be insane. 2080, I'm calling it. All right.
Yeah.
I don't... I went nose deep into that, and I was like, oh, shit.
That's where you cut the chapter, right? Right where Bobby goes, yeah.
Oh man!
You know what? I wanted to bring up, but like I wanted to let you finish the intro. But I was watching Psychic Pebbles and Oni Plays, watching their channel, and they said that they hate when YouTubers are like, "Don't forget to like the video and subscribe."
I do too.
And all three of them were like, "I fucking hate that. Like if I like your video and I'm gonna subscribe to it, I'm gonna like it. Because you told me, I'm not gonna fucking do it." Yeah. So I was like,
but Joey, the data shows that if you tell people to do it, more people will do it.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing.
It's the same thing with the thumbnail.
That's
right?
100% true.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's not like you just have to flat out say it. Like, you know, we just asked for it. But there's other ways you could do it.
The animation with the...
You know, a little graphic. One of my personal favorites, one of my favorite YouTube channels, Corridor Digital. They used to do little green screen animations. So, like, while you're watching the video in the bottom right corner, like, one of them would walk into the video and just, like, hold up a subscribe scene. It's, like, some cartoon level shit.
That's, like, some...
That's funny.
I mean, that's, like, some, like, Fox shit.
Yeah, right.
Fox
Coming up
like
next on The Simpsons.
Or it'd be like Bart and he like spray paint Simpsons 8 p.m. or whatever, you know.
I'm gonna put one of those in.
Word. But it's just like a stick figure jerking off.
It just says subscribe.
He comes in, subscribe.
Gosh, I wish I knew somebody who could animate.
I
that
could,
for me.
bro. I'll hit you up, bro. I'll work on it this weekend. Maybe not that, but
I'll look. I'll ask some friends.
Oh my god!
I once animated a whole pornography on stick figure pivot animator.
What?
So back in the day, I remember
I've heard about
Yeah.
this.
So I went to the library one time. It was like over the summer, or maybe it was my friend's house. And I go over his house and I come in and I see him just like moving a bunch of stick figures. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, hey, it's pivot stick figure animator. And it's like stop motion. So you just take the stick figure and frame, and you just do it that way. I was like, oh, okay. So I just started fucking around. I had a summer where I didn't do anything. So I made a Wild Western movie. Okay. This is my thing. I didn't want to make like a little tiny animation.
Oh, yeah.
I made an entire like shootout
production.
Scene.
Nice.
And he's like, there's like a tumbleweed. He's like jumping, the gun. It's horrible because I didn't know how to like delete items.
Gotcha.
So I would drag all of the bullets off of screen.
I would like physically.
So if you full frame,
they just be on the side.
On the side.
Okay, so I have a lot of questions,
Yeah.
but I'll let you. My first question is this a sex scene in this Western, or is this a full on?
It's a separate file.
Oh boy,
it's a separate file.
But I never I quit very early on.
Got it.
Just because it just looked weird.
My second question, when it comes to stick figure anatomy, right?
It's mainly penis driven.
No. Oh, of course. but I think my question is there a penis?
Yeah.
So there is a little dash that comes out of the pelvic area.
It is the most.
You draw it under it.
It is very prominent.
Okay, I just didn't know.
It's comical porn.
Because maybe you don't do it, but the whole motion.
Bobby, I am not making a realistic porn. I am making.
I'm aware. My question was: is there a little fucking 1 centimeter line that sticks out?
There is a giant.
You see, as a person that has drawn naked stick figures, you can draw.
This is what we're here
Bobby,
for, guys.
Bobby, you're a real the non-phallic stick figure side of the table, right? You're really showing your amateur.
My true colors, yeah.
You draw the stick figure, and it's not a line like the rest of their body. Okay,
it's a different size.
You draw under the 2 legs. You draw like 2 circles to indicate like the.
All right,
the balls.
But now
and then you just draw like an oval.
This is very intricate. I did a stick. He's right though with the oval. I did more of less like a cylinder.
Okay.
Kind of deal.
So but the body's a stick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to differentiate it a little bit. It was horrible though. The woman looked real ugly. I would never have sex with any of these.
My women were just. I didn't. They're also sticks, but what just differentiates them is just boobs.
All right. So speaking of dicks and shit you did over the summer, can you explain the sign this week? What's up?
So I thought I'd give tribute to
Pride Month,
but also Summer Month, which is the
Does
most
this come
important
out on Pride? Oh, look at that! Look at you, Dylan. Actually looked ahead
Some
for
foresight.
Once.
No, I did. I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah,
it'd be cool.
That's why I wore this shirt.
Yeah,
it's totally not because my favorite color is pink.
Is it? I had no idea, bro.
Oh, the sarcasm is a
put
flow, and I was about to say, really,
Mm-hmm.
dude? Like, anyway, yeah.
Wait, Joey, is it black? Your favorite color?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Juneteenth comes out in June, so.
Oh yeah.
What? The holiday?
Juneteenth is on June 19th.
Okay, but
cool.
You said it like it was like a movie. Like Juneteenth
no,
comes
it's
out.
not a movie. It's a governmental holiday.
I know, but I was like, what the fuck? I was like, did they make a Juneteenth movie?
So it was like
Juneteenth Part 2, the sequel.
Fucking
spontaneous too. I was like, what?
But on the summer track, you said you had some plans.
Yeah. I mean,
summer?
I want to do shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Is it gonna be your gay summer or?
No, I mean, we'll think about it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe show up to the beach.
It could be.
I'm just in a crop top.
Just the crop top.
We go back to my house.
Just the crop top.
Just the crop top. We come home. We're watching Fire Island on Hulu. We're like, Dylan, what the fuck are we doing?
You're a third dressed.
Nice.
That's what that is, right?
Yeah,
when you wear a crop top and nothing else.
Yeah,
You're not half naked. You're a third naked.
Yeah.
2/3 naked.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then everything else.
Speaking, I'm sorry to go back to this subject. I want to go back to the phallic drawings that we've made.
Yeah, sure.
Why are we back on?
Of course.
So I just feel like
you're making this chapter game real difficult for me here.
This is the gayest podcast episode.
That's what happens when Jerry's not here.
I'm happy. I had foresight
here.
with this too.
Jerry doesn't show up and this shit goes off the rails.
No, I had a friend. His name is Keith. Shout outs to Keith. He was this Filipino guy, and he would draw like anything people told him to.
Sick animator, yeah.
He animates now too. He's really good, and I remember like having a sign language class with him for the 4 years, and I would literally and I sat with him in lunch. So I would tell him, "Hey Keith, draw me this," and he'll draw it, and it like mad intricate and everything. So he told me, he says, "I like you give me challenges. Like I draw some crazy things, and you ask me to draw something." I remember one day. I walked over to see him like intently like drawing something like with the detail, like his eyes are squinting, he's doing it. So I peek over his shoulder, I'm like, "What you drawing?" And he drew a penis with like sailor tattoos, and the tattoos were also penises.
Yeah.
It had arms, which were also penises, and flexing his muscles, which were penises.
Yeah.
And it had a sailor's hat. And I
Yeah.
just looked at that and immediately started crying. I was like, "What compelled you to draw that?" And he says, "I don't know."
All right, fuck it. Let's stay on the wave. I'm tangenting this shit. Speaking of like gay high school experiences, shout outs to, I have to use pseudonyms here because obviously I don't want to name names, but I used to take a creative writing class in high school that I was very, actually really like happy with. I like writing.
I also took creative writing.
I'm going to talk a little bit about it later, but
but
I love writing, right? It's one of my favorite things.
Is that the next chapter, Joey?
Yeah.
Right? He's lining it up.
Oh shit.
But we had this one of the teacher I had in creative writing. Let's just name him Mr. Smith, okay?
Mr. Smith.
We had another kid in my class. Let's name this kid Ernie. Got it? Not their names, but that's their names for the sake of this story. My teacher, Mr. Smith, was pretty funny. He was known for being like a laid back kind of teacher, and he would start every class with a prompt. So it would basically be like a 10 to 15 minute prompt where he would start us off with an idea or something, and then we would take the 10 minutes to write it, and then after that, whoever wanted to share would share. This kid Ernie had a knack for just writing stories about him and Mr. Smith having sex all the time. So he would just, and then obviously this guy would like raise his hand and just read these straight up out loud into the class.
Oh my Lord.
And then the teacher would just have to be like, thank you, Ernie, da 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 da, right? So like one day I'll never forget, the prompt was slowly he turned. Or it was slowly I turned. The prompt was slowly I turned. So we all write, da da da. Everybody writes their.
I'm sure people had some mad serious.
Yeah,
ones.
it was all
People take that shit
for sure,
intense.
right? And then this kid Ernie's hand goes up, and immediately Mr. Smith is like, "No, Ernie," and he's like, "No, Mr. Smith, I'm telling you, it's like serious." He's like, "Ernie, I'm serious." He's like, "I'm Mr. Smith. This is like I put a lot of fucking work into this," and he's like, "I swear to God, Ernie, if this is one of your jokes," and he's like, "It's not," and he's like, "All right, go ahead." And then Ernie goes and he reads it and he goes, "Slowly I turned to see Mr. Smith finishing on my back." Bro, I fucking cried, dog.
Oh my God! Couldn't it like
oh
low-key,
my God?
Isn't that sexual harassment at this point? Like, could the teacher file sexual harassment on his own student
against the 17-year-old?
Oh my
kid?
God! Stop.
29 in a row.
Bro, that shit killed me, man.
That's funny.
Mine was worse because mine, like, the two white kids just decided to have a rap battle, which turned into 3 kids having a rap battle, which turned into 4 kids having a rap battle. And like the kid who did it originally, like it wasn't even rap; it was like spoken word.
Yeah,
it was about like his mom with cancer. It was like mad serious. And the other one's like,
some other guy comes out.
Yo! I've never seen nobody just go
Look at him, he choking.
Yeah.
It's so fucking dumb.
And it was
bro.
just like going, and then like it was just the worst. Man, I have so many like just worse stories where it'd be like my teacher personally would never call on kids because some kids they wouldn't write. I had maybe about 4 or 5 kids that like if you open their book it would be like 2 lines. Two lines. Or like they'd write like one sentence and then just start like, and then I went to the store and then me and my friends hung out and I'm like, wait, he's talking about his night. Like he's talking about like him and his friends hanging out.
The prompt is something like, you land on a new alien planet, what do you see? And this dude's like, we went to 7-Eleven, bro.
And then
cop the hot dog.
Or those are even worse because then now it's just like, I'd bring a sandwich, I'd bring a boat, like they just look at the hot worst answers.
To a planet, a boat.
Oh my God.
Bring my boat to this fucking
What if it has
planet.
an bro?
What does it ocean have?
Yeah, other planets have water.
Oh man, no, they don't.
There's other planets.
I think I had.
We don't know about them.
I think I had a poetry assignment in high school, and I think because like I was young, I must have been like 15, 16. I think I made my poem about like playing video games because I'm a gamer.
Gamer for sure. Yeah.
So it was dumb.
Yeah. That just sounds like.
I think I had it saved somewhere on my.
Can we do like I would love to do
God.
like a super dramatic reading, and you're just like on stage.
My high school poem about gaming.
I knew my HP was low.
Green mushroom, extra life. I will make Peach my wife.
Nah, it's Zelda. I probably wrote Zelda.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah.
Fucking no, what was I gonna say? I don't know why that reminded me, but for some reason, like you said, gamer, and I just thought of us in like 8th grade, and I pictured our yearbook. Remember our yearbook from fucking 8th grade?
Our yearbook was lazy. It was
made
by
a
student.
Yeah,
one student.
Yeah, but it was just like, you know what I mean? It was like they went to Kinko's and got it copied. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But it had like our pictures with the quotes and shit like that. And to this day, every time I fucking read my quote, I'm so pissed off because I bullshitted it on the spot. My quote was something along the lines of "keep going forward and never look down." And it's like, that makes no fucking sense. You know
it's funny that you say that. There are times I look at your quote, like back when I was in high school, to look back at 8th grade, and I looked at that quote, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, that's pretty inspirational for Bobby to say.
It's fucking dumb. What am I on a fucking high-ass bridge? Like, keep looking forward and don't look down. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the old wise man on the other side of town told us.
No, my 8th grade yearbook quote. I think I was in art class when they asked us. They asked this in art class. It was just like, write what you want to say on your yearbook. and I think I was having like a bad day that day. Like I was tired and I was like angry. And they hand me this fucking paper and they're like, write what you want to say. And I was like, have a good life.
That's what. Yeah, that's Joey's fucking quote.
My quote is literally like, life. Fuck you. Have a good life. There you go.
Green Day, bro.
Shit, that's great, bro. Oh man.
Yeah. I didn't even get one.
I could kind of segue this actually pretty fucking nicely. Check this out. It doesn't help when I say I'm gonna segue.
It doesn't. Yeah, I was about to say like it doesn't know credence.
So speaking of writing, I've been writing. I've been trying to get on my feet and like actually write a movie, more specifically a comedy movie, because I like to make movies and I like to make people laugh. So
a script, not like you're not creating you don't have a magical pen that makes a movie.
What?
Yeah.
Was that your attempt at a joke?
No.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What? No, because when you say like I wrote a movie.
Yeah.
Some people like they don't know what that means. Personally, like they don't know the steps.
I think they know what it means.
No,
I think.
All right, you want me to get fucking technical with it? I'm writing a screenplay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I think everybody knows what writing a fucking movie means.
No, they don't.
Okay. You see how little Dylan thinks of you, viewer? He just thinks you fucking know nothing.
They learned nothing.
Dylan's gonna mansplain everything for you guys for the rest of it. Yeah, right.
So podcasting is.
I'm gonna say words to you now.
So radio frequencies. But no, I've been trying to write a comedy film and just like make a movie because I love filmmaking. I like making, I like movies. That's not a fucking secret at this point, but I'm 25 and it'd be really cool to actually have a movie under my belt that's not a YouTube video or a cooking show or a short film where I play Joey's conscience. Don't look for that. That doesn't exist. Don't look for it. But point is I want to make like an actual movie. So to inspire myself, I've been, I've watched half of it, but I went back and tried to like really focus in on it. Judd Apatow's masterclass. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know who Judd Apatow is, see, I'm taking a page out of the Dylan book here.
Thank you.
He is a pretty iconic director, writer, producer who is known for working in some capacity on some of your favorite comedy movies that came out from like 2004 to like fucking now.
The classics.
Yep. Anchorman, fucking
40-Year-Old Virgin.
40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, Superbad. List goes on and on and on and on and on and on. So I've been watching a shit ton of his masterclass, but I've also been going back and watching a lot of his movies. And holy crap, I missed out on some gems. Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah.
A real funny guy.
Can't believe I never saw Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I'm so mad at myself.
Forgot about Sarah.
I forgot about Sarah
I think I only
Marshall.
saw one clip of it. And is it like, Peter, you suck.
The piano scene, yeah. I too only had seen like the major funny clips from the movie, but I'd never actually sat down to watch it. And it's got to be one of my new favorite comedy movies of all time. It's so good. I also didn't expect like the amount of like acting power in that movie.
It has a lot.
Yeah,
of acting power.
Like even like you strip away all the comedians in it, like you still have fucking like Mila Kunis and Kristen and what's her name, Kristen Bell, in like the main roles, and that's like crazy. It's like holy shit, like. You don't really expect they're funny, but you don't expect them to be like that level of comedy or whatever. But they really do deliver.
Yeah, so and it's just that the stars all around. You know?
And then
a lot of good people.
To flip that, the other one I watched was one of his newest films, and that was The King of Staten Island, which is loosely based on Pete Davidson's life.
Which I totally forgot that was Judd Apatow.
Yeah,
like I completely. I knew that movie came out. No, I didn't.
I wanted to see it, but at the same time, I was like. I don't want to
I was on that kind of wave too because Pete Davidson had another movie that came out around the same time called Big Time Adolescence, and I saw that one, and that movie's it's good, but it's more like the best way I could describe a movie like that is it feels like a place and time kind of movie. It's not really like one of those movies where you're like, oh, the future, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like you're watching friends exist in this time period kind of thing. It doesn't feel too much more grand than that. More specifically, the movie's about Pete Davidson plays the boyfriend to a kid's older sister. Okay. And after he breaks up with the older sister, he continues to be friends with the younger brother, even though there's like a huge age difference. He literally brings this kid who's like 12, 13 years old to like parties with 18-year-olds and they smoke weed, they drink all the shit. And then it flashes forward and now Pete Davidson is like in his early 20s and the kid is in high school or whatever. And Pete gets him to sell drugs for him or whatever. And that's like the thing of the movie.
That's kind of funny.
But the movie is not really filmed comedically. Like it's mainly filmed to be like, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah,
like, this relationship is fucked up type of thing.
Wow, interesting.
It's like Claire. It's like basic movie plot.
Yeah, and I like the movie, but it didn't really like, I don't know, like I said earlier, it didn't make me
deserve.
Yeah, I guess the way that the movie ended, I was just kind of like, it didn't make me want any more. It didn't make me want any less. I was just kind of like,
you were like, okay,
yeah,
I just watched someone else's life.
Yeah,
and
because of that,
good TV movie.
I didn't want to watch Staten Island, King of Staten Island, because I was like, I don't want to just jump into another fucking Pete Davidson movie. Yeah. It's gonna be the same shit. Finally got around to it. Beautiful film. Can't believe I hadn't watched it sooner. Yeah. And to jump back into what I said about Mila Kunis and Kristen Bell's performances, specifically another two actors' performances, Pete Davidson's and Bill Burr's performance in this movie is like shockingly amazing.
Burr's good?
Incredible.
Burr.
Because you watch these people and like we're so used to seeing them on stage and podcasts just being hilarious, like cracking jokes. You don't take these people seriously. But then you put them in a movie that's about very serious shit and it's like, oh crap, like yeah, these guys are doing their thing. I was also more so impressed that just like Pete Davidson would go along making a movie so close. Not that he would go along with it, but I guess a better way to phrase it is I give him props because I think it's really brave to make a movie about a traumatic experience like that, like losing a father to, well, in his case, 9/11. In the movie, it's slightly different. He like dies in a different fire, but
yeah, the same.
All facts stay the same. Like his father is a firefighter, passes away when he's 7 years old. His mom is a school nurse like she is in real life. He has a sister that's younger than him. So, like, everything is the exact fucking same.
Oh, wow.
The only spin on it is that, the movie's about his mom finally dating again, and she ends up dating a firefighter. And, well, I guess in a larger part, the movie's about Pete's, like, mental struggles. And I thought that was really interesting, too, because it's really real. It's not like...
Well, he's admitted to his mental struggles.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think maybe that movie was almost, like, part of his therapeutic...
Yeah.
His therapeutic recovery.
But, yeah, like, you kind of go into the movie expecting, like, a big mental breakdown. But, like, even when it comes, it's not really a mental breakdown because it's very true for the person he is. Like, his version of a mental breakdown is more private and shit like that. It's kind of like... It's real. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there were times I was watching this and asked somebody who's dealt with depression and anxiety, it's like, fuck. Like, I know what it feels like to be like that. And it sucks.
Relatable stuff.
But yeah, it was just really refreshing to see a movie like that. And then, like, to bring it all back, Judd Apatow handled that amazingly, and it's hilarious. Like, it has really fucking hilarious, funny... And I think a better way to swing it is, like, all of those funny moments lead into heartwarming moments.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's like the jokes just immediately lead into, like, okay... serious
big
stuff.
Range of emotion.
I guess like
that's cool.
A slight spoiler is there's a pretty funny scene towards the end where Pete is like washing the floor at the firehouse or something like that. And interestingly enough, Action Bronson is in the movie, and he plays a guy that just got shot or stabbed, but he won't tell Pete what it is because he doesn't want to know what he's gotten himself into. So when he's like, "What the fuck happened to you, dude?" He's like, "Don't worry about it, man. I had a vape in my pocket and it exploded." It's like, he's just making up random shit, but he's bleeding out. Like, it's a serious thing. He's fading out, and it spins it to like Pete having to bring him to the hospital. It's like a big responsibility moment for him. But even like through the whole thing, he's like, what does he say? He's like, tell my father I hate him, but I love him at the same time. And he's like, don't worry, man, we're gonna get you help. And then Action's like, tell my sister I knew she was my mother the whole time. I was fucking crying, bro. It's just stupid ass scene. But every fucking funny comedic moment just immediately lends itself to a really like awesome weighty scene. So I loved it.
That's funny.
Two very, very different but awesome movies by Judd Apatow. So yeah, I guess it's my little comedy movie renaissance.
And then this 40-year-old virgin where he didn't have sex.
I didn't like that movie though.
It's good. It's good.
It's one of those movies that's like, it's good. It's like a cult classic.
It's
a cult classic because of its time.
Yeah, and it's a little much. It's a little outdated too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Well, you know.
I always say with that movie, I very much like the middle of the 40-year-old virgin. I don't care too much for the beginning, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't like the end of the movie.
No.
But that middle part is great. Yeah, solid.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up that you want to do writing and stuff, and I thought of it just today. I watched Love, Death, and Robots, the newest season on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And they're always like 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes tops. And I just think I think they're so good. And I'm like, damn, like I want to make a 7 minute or 10 minute short. Like, it doesn't take a whole movie or all these things. And grant, I'm not an animator, but if I can make something like Adult Swim has those crazy shorts that they just like air randomly
at like 8:17 at night.
Word, like I want to make something like cool. I was even telling Dylan before we turned on the cameras, I'm like, I think I might take my summer to go back to auditioning again because it's been a minute because of COVID.
It's important to keep your arts inside of you.
Keep your art, your whatever makes you happy, your art, where you draw, act, or screenwrite. Do it. Keep doing it.
Make shit.
Fecal sculptures.
Make shit. Even if you're doing a different job, make shit.
Always.
Always. I could segue this again. I mean, fuck. Speaking of making shit.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? So, hear me out. Ready?
Yeah.
A couple days ago.
Yeah.
A band that you guys know special to me, Panic at the Disco, released a little advertisement on their Instagram page that, you know, it seems like, you know, I can't really say they because Panic at the Disco is really just Brendan Urie at this point.
I was about to say, like,
but you know, Panic at the Disco, aka Brendan Urie, is releasing new music, and it's been like 4 years, maybe even more.
Word.
Even then, like, he's kind of a celebrity that like fell off the face of the earth. So like I have no idea what he's been up to.
I don't know if he fell off the face of the earth.
But like, what was he doing during COVID? Like, you never heard.
He did nothing during COVID.
Look him up. You will not find a video, anything, a stream for the past 2 to 3 years. Yeah, he hasn't been around anywhere.
In that sense, but like if you say Brendan Urie to like a bunch of high schoolers, they'll be like,
No, of course, yeah, but he's not around.
But he's not around. Yeah,
he hasn't
waiting.
He hasn't posted. I think the last post he comes out of the woodwork to make a tweet when it's like about something serious because he does all these like charitable blah blah blah. But I don't mean to get into a fucking tangent about this. I just wanted to mention the music thing because it started getting me into an idea of a topic that we've been putting to the shelf for like 2 weeks now, and I think it's finally time that the three of us at this table, we sit back and we delve into our top 5 bands of all time.
Oh shit!
I mean, if any 3 of the 4 Joystick members are gonna have something to say about this, it's the 3 people sitting here right now. Considering Jerry's definitely more into like hip hop and stuff like that.
Yeah. Jerry, I don't see Jerry as a band guy. I see him more as like solo people.
So let's get this thing started off. If you had to pick a number 1, very difficult, but I feel like at the end of the day, there's like one band that, despite whether or not you want to admit it, kind of sits at your number 1.
Oh, I would say
I got 2.
And keep in mind,
I have it down to 2.
This is favorite bands of all time. This is not favorite bands right now.
Yeah.
So that means, like, you know, like in my personal opinion, I think if I had to be honest, Panic at the Disco is a very close number 1, and I'll get to that when I get to my second. But it's only because like I knew every song from their first 4 albums.
I think I know mine.
Go ahead.
Arctic Monkeys.
I think that's a really fair one.
Nice.
So I don't really listen to them that much now, but I still do, and that's why it's really important. And I think of the amount of time they spent is my favorite band will override everything else. I feel, because there's other bands I can think of that will take up the other top 5 spots. I feel, but in terms of like actual time that I like spent listening, there was like I would say most of high school, and then a gap of like 2015 to 2017 where that was like my shit.
And it's funny you mentioned the whole thing about like the amount of time that they were your favorite band, because that's gonna lend itself very well into when I bring up my number 2.
Yeah.
But
so we're on number 1.
Yeah.
I think I have a couple of tattoos that I have dedicated to like band lyrics, and right now the biggest one I'm gonna say it might be them as my number 1. The Wonder Years. I got into them when I was in college, which was about maybe 6 years ago. And their songs are pretty good. I like their music. I like they're making their new albums, and the singer does other, like he has like another band that kind of ties into their band, the Wonder Years.
Spin-off band.
He basically does. He has a folk storytelling spin-off band.
Incredible.
And I think that I freaking like I give him props to that. So I'm like, damn, like you're really good at what you do.
I would even say that is like almost better in a sense. He just does it way less, so it's like not as
yeah, word. So I'm gonna say the Wonder Years. I got a tattoo of them, so I'm like,
I'll put them in my. I'd say they're top
5. I'd figure they're in the top 5 with you.
Maybe top 10. Because this is overarching, like, you know, because I'm like,
mad music.
I know I was a child, but I'll give some like pre-20. You know, you grew up with that shit.
Well, yeah,
you can't like
allow me to get into my number 2.
You can't hate on the shit you grew up with.
I sat down because I've actually been thinking about this while we've been off podcasts, our off season, aka the 6 days we're not shooting a fucking podcast.
Very true.
But for the rest of the week, I had been thinking about it, and even like as I was thinking about it, it was like Spotify knew exactly what was in my mind because it started playing their music, and I was like, I don't talk about them a lot, but realistically speaking, I've been a fan of theirs for like easily over 15 years at this point. They had the first song I ever downloaded off of iTunes.
Oh, I feel wait. You told me about this.
3 Days Grace.
It's got to be Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
They're so and I feel like
it's so like emo night Brooklyn.
Yeah, and like
word.
And I'll be the first to admit, like, I don't like a single song off their last album. No siree. Their second to last album was like hit or miss for me. I actually liked Save Rock and Roll, which was like their first big like comeback album.
back, yeah.
But as far as like all their old albums, I fucking fiended hard off
Underrated.
of them. I think you and I have had conversations about, I think specifically we've talked about how Joe Troman might be one of the most underrated guitarists of all time.
For sure.
Like every single amazing Fall Out Boy lick is like all him, and it's insane. But that would definitely have to be my number 2.
Yeah.
And just before we get into your number 2, I'm just going to skip over my number 3 because it'd probably be Arctic Monkeys. And you covered that quite nicely. So.
And I feel like that's the most important thing that Bobby touched on, which I feel like is the main part of like the band. Where it's when I think of a band, I think of like if I remove a member and they're not like it changes stuff. Then that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Like for example, like Panic at the Disco, they would lose people, but they still had like them, you know. Because I feel like more often than not, it's Brendan Urie and the gang. It's like that's how I see Panic at the Disco.
It wasn't until like their 5th or 6th album that it was finally like him on his own.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's a different era. You know, I used to hate that he didn't like change his name or whatever, but hey, that's like the brand.
And for what it's worth, like I said earlier, I'm not super into the newer Panic albums. I'm always gonna be excited when it's coming around because I have that hope in me, but they're really my favorite because of all the old albums. Like me and Dylan again go into another discussion where we feel like fucking Fever You Can't Sweat Out is like the best album of all time for like a week every year. It's insane, but
such a good album. And then I listen to it and I'm like, oh, Kamisato. Like I'll just find a song that's like, oh shit, that's mad good.
Dance.
Yeah. My second band, and I think this band might be on Joey's list, maybe not, but Senses Fail. Because the reason why I have this band is because like we're talking about the band. Is that they always lose members. Every album, it's a different group of guys. Like their bassist is different, their guitarist is different. I think there's maybe only 2 albums where they had like the same mix of guys.
Yeah.
But their lead singer, Buddy, incredible, mad good every album. And a thing that I also noticed about bands I really like is that every album has to be completely different. Like a band like Arctic Monkeys, it's a completely different vibe all the way through. Senses Fail's that same way where it's like every album, it's a completely, not different genre, but it's like a different spin.
Yeah.
It's like, what if we did our sound, but with this? You know, what if we had this effect on the vocals? What if we did more of that, you know?
For sure.
So I feel like Senses Fail and what it meant to me growing up and just dealing with their lyrics and, you know,
sick.
Definitely number 2 for me.
My number 2, I'm actually going to be seeing the next week. They're a band that's been around for a long time, and they're now older. A lot of them have kids, but they've been friends, like kind of the vibe that we had, like friends for mad long. And they're like, all right, we're gonna continue this like for a while, like even with kids and responsibilities. And that's 4 years strong. Like 4 years strong, and they've been much longer than 4 years. They've been together.
It was too easy to make that joke. I abstained.
Yeah, I got into them. I think I heard them at the first ever Warped Tour I went to, and that was like 3 Warped Tours before the final Warped Tour. And when I heard them, I was like, holy crap. Like their breakdowns are great. They have like great voices, all these guys. And then not only that, the hard songs, like these really like hard breakdown songs, they'll have an acoustic version, and it sounds like even prettier, like even greater. And I'm like, holy shit. I went to one of their concerts. It was like deep in Long Island. But it was just like an acoustic of the whole album. They were like, we're gonna do the whole album acoustic. It was the 2 guitarists. They sat down, drank beers, and just played the whole album. And it was just like a wholesome, like really cool vibe. And I was like, these guys are really good.
That's fine.
I really like these guys.
I missed that show. Was it Amityville?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. I fucking sad I missed that. That sounds mad good. 4 Years Strong is mad good. They would not be on my list, but they are also a very underrated band. I
listen to them when I work out. They're like my workout band.
They're so hype. They're like the hype.
They're my workout.
They can
songs.
make really beautiful stuff. But they can also make really hard and hype things.
Hey, that's a solid lead into my number 4 pick.
Oh,
and as I said, I already said Arctic Monkeys is my number 3. Not really gonna delve into that because I think Dylan really put a very nice bow on that. Like Dylan said earlier, for the amount of time that they were a band and were just putting out hits, incredible. Like the first 5 albums were just fucking oof. My God, Humbug. Love it. But you know what? I used to think Humbug was my favorite album, but I'm leaning towards you, man.
What?
Fuck, Favorite Worst Nightmares.
Favorite Worst Nightmares
are edible, man.
The crescendo in like every song.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, oh.
What's that song? Do
one?
Me a Favor.
Yeah, Do Me a
At
Favor
that
is good.
last fucking 30 seconds where you're like,
Dun, dun, dun.
yes, I'm here for it. But my number 4 band is also, in my opinion, a great band to work out to. And they're probably the only band on my top, well, not the only, but they're one of the few bands in my like top list that's actually fairly new in terms of when I started liking them in comparison to bands like Panic at the Disco and and Fall Out Boy. And that's going to have to be, for my opinion, the best twosome in rock and roll right now, Royal fucking Blood. My boys. I fucking love Royal Blood so much. Those guys are incredible. Shout outs to Mike and Ben. They're just amazing. You wouldn't go right now, literally leave the podcast.
Yeah, bye.
Or close the tab. You don't
realistically, wait after this. Yeah. Go listen to a Royal Blood song, and then after that, look up that Royal Blood song on YouTube, and you'll be astounded that the song you just heard was just two people. Because it's insane. I mean, the whole gimmick is the fact that the front man of the band, Mike, actually uses like a whole pedal system to make his one bass guitar
sound like
electric guitars,
and then it sounds less,
and then it sounds like a simple bass. So he's just able to fucking do everything in once. So big fan of that band.
And their thing too is like they're loud. Like a lot of their songs are abrasive, and it's like that guitar and stuff, and it's like in your face. So it's like when you hear that, and you're like, wait, this is two guys?
Yeah, and I think another thing that I really like about the band is similarly to how you said earlier about how bands kind of do something different every album. They kind of follow that same pattern, but since they're so new as a band, they've been really like open about it. They're like, we were just really like closed-minded when they made the first album. So the first album was just drums and bass. That was it. So then when they made the second album, they were like,
out of the black. I'm just hearing in my
head. And then when they made the second album, they were like, why don't we add a different instrument? So that's literally the only change from the first album to the second album, is that a couple songs now have a synth in it, and that's literally it.
Nice.
And then the change from the second album to their last album, their third album, was that they've kind of transgressed into like a style of music that blends their old very hard bass drum rock music with more electronic synthy stuff. The best way I could describe it is it's like hard rock ABBA. And if you're into that, go listen, because I'm very much into it. But
bro, the audience getting a lot of music recommendations.
Yeah, man.
This whole chapter.
So Royal Blood is gonna be my number 4. If you guys want to do your 3 4s, you can. I already know what my 5 is. Though.
I mean,
we're on 3, right?
Yeah, I'm on 3.
You guys are on 3. I'm on.
Yeah, because he had a repeat. Yeah, it'll be funny too that we'll recommend a yam that's different also. That's unrelated.
My jam is the guy.
Yeah, my yam is my yam's a rap. My yam is ironically a rap song. I feel.
Yeah, mine is too.
Yeah, but that's kind of how music works. It's it's about like progression, and I feel like
that's
next
week when Jerry's here and we do top 5 rappers.
Yeah.
Word.
Hey, we'll have them in studio.
Yeah,
they'll be
all 20 of them.
Yeah. They'll all be here.
We brought Polo.
We didn't pay a single thing. We're just really likable. They were all like, yeah, of course, Team Joystick.
Yeah, man.
Number 3. Fuck, did I even think about this?
You had a lot of fucking time.
Yeah, word.
The Front Bottoms, I feel, would probably be there.
I mean, honestly speaking, if I didn't know better, I would have said that would have been your number 1.
I can't. Given what some of their early music sounds like, I cannot give them that
That's
title.
Fair, yeah.
But they mean a lot to me. They were like one of my favorite groups for the last, I would say, probably 6 or 7 years. I remember, what was it, last year I was looking at their first album and another band of mine who would probably be number 4 and number 5. Their album came out in 2011 as well, and that those albums were 10 years old last year, and now they're older than 10 years old. So now both these bands that I'm listening to are far beyond like the 10-year mark, and I feel like that's really important for them. Super important band to me in regards to just like their lyrics. Like, not that it's super important, but like I hate hearing like extravagant shit in music.
Yeah.
And a lot of their music was either super emotional or it was just like them doing shit in New Jersey.
Simple.
Which like I love. And it's like, yeah, we went to Pennsylvania to buy
as opposed
fireworks.
To Panic at the
Now we're
Disco,
gonna come
where
back
they write a whole
and
Baroque
very,
poem.
like, I did
it was
today.
very much, and like when you hear about like all of their songs were written in their mom's basement and stuff like that, and you hear that in the songs when it's like, for example, a lot of their early stuff would just be like quotes.
Interesting.
Like one of their.
Let me be a blue raft.
Yeah.
On the blue sea, I'll blend right in.
Yeah, exactly. But like I remember there's one song where the hook is just like, can you please take this off speakerphone? This is a private conversation. And that comes from them being at a party, and he's on the phone with his girlfriend at a party on speakerphone, and she's like, hey, can you take me off speakerphone? This private conversation. He was like, nope, hang up. And that's where the lyric comes from.
Wow.
And just like, I don't know, and just going to their concerts and like having the like so raw emotion that you're singing and we're singing it back. I don't know. And then everything cuts and we're still singing it. I don't know.
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
It's one of those bands that if they just played, the whole audience would sing all their songs.
That's sick.
Mm-hmm. My number 3, Front Bottoms comes close. I think Front Bottoms is like I'm still deciding if they're 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But they're on my list. But number 3 for me was I broke up with this girlfriend I had, my ex, and as you know, I freaking love them goth girls, bro. And
Joey do be liking them goth girls.
And once we split up, I kind of was like, what connects me to the culture other than, I like wearing black a lot and I like horror movies. So I kind of just delved into music. I was just looking up what's considered goth music. And a lot of forums and people were saying, The Cure is like one of the number one songs, the gothic bands that came out. And I looked up like The Cure. They've been around since like the 80s and they've been making music since 2008.
Spider-Man.
Holy crap. Like I listen to literally all, like, I'm going to assume double digits. They have double digit amount of albums. I listen to all of them, all the songs, and I like a lot. I like them a lot. I have like, they're all like these liked. I just know that there's a lot of likes from them. So I would say that they're in my top 3. Like I know when I hit shuffle and a Cure song comes up, I'm like, let's fucking get it. Like, it's going to be dope.
Fire.
Fucking classics on that one.
So I guess this is my number 5, right?
Yeah.
This is the hardest one.
Yeah, and then we'll do 4.
It's the one to round out.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I had some honorable mentions lined up, right? Just to get through a couple honorable mentions that I think are easily honorable mentions. Coheed and Cambria, big fan of them. Bands like Queen, big fan of Queen. Some older bands. But there's 2 that I think are really in contention for the 5 spot. And what's interesting is they're also 2 bands that are very much not bands. You know, they're 2 very different turns on the term band. So I have to make a very complex decision here as to what it is going to be for me. And I think it's really, do I choose A or do I choose B?
And neither are technically bands, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're bands, but...
Is one Brockhampton?
One is Brockhampton, that's B, and my A is Anamanaguchi.
Okay, because I'm on the fence about Brockhampton, because if you pick Brockhampton, then I won't pick it.
So
you know?
I thinking
that was my 5.
So
I probably won't pick it now.
I'm a really big fan of Anamanaguchi. As Joey can tell you, I have been to many a concerts because he's been to most of them with me. And it's just like a really important band for like me growing up, because I think it was like one of the first times I saw video games or anything culturally related to games being portrayed not necessarily like that. It was like, we're going to take video game music and we're going to turn this shit into fun rock dance music. And I was like, oh shit. And all of a sudden it's like, it's still nerdy and it's still geeky, but it's not all like, you know what I mean? It didn't feel geeky. It
felt like a fun concert, like people who are willing to go outside of their homes, like without hoodies and just like dance around and jump. And
keeping that in mind, like there's other chiptune artists out there whose music very much sounds gamey and stuff like that. It's very significant, but, like what Gucci brings to the table. Like they're able
fusion.
They're able to bring that. And I'd argue it's only gotten better throughout the years, because now they're at a point where, like, I'd argue you listen to the songs and it doesn't even sound like chiptune music anymore. They're really just like making dance music, but still using the tools, still using the software
rock
that they always do.
Dance music, and it was pretty good.
But that being said, I am gonna put Gucci in the honorable mention category, and that is because as Joey also knows, they like their music catalog isn't very large. They kind of had a huge hiatus between their main first album, which was
USA.
No,
Endless Fantasy. There we go.
And their second album, which was USA. I think that was like almost like an 8-year difference or something like that. So just in terms of how much music they have, like not too much compared to Brockhampton, who literally put out multiple albums per year, which is kind of what I'm getting at here. And the second thing I will just say before I get into my quick Brockhampton tangent is that if we were doing albums of all time, I think Endless Fantasy might be my number 1 album of all time.
Wow, really?
22 tracks, and every single track is incredible.
It's because they sent pizza into space, huh?
Yeah, for sure. It's pizza.
YouTube that video. Anamanaguchi sends pizza into space.
But I think Endless Fantasy might be my number 1 album of all time. The only one that could technically beat it would be a Fisco, but regardless, Brockhampton I think is easily my number 5 band, which is funny considering they're a boy band.
They're
raps,
classified as themselves, you know what I mean? As boy band.
A collection of people. Some of them don't even make music.
But I mean, like, you strip that all away, right? Like, you still have like rap groups like Wu-Tang Clan or whatever. But what makes Brockhampton different is not only the fact that they have singers, and not only the fact that they have these rappers that bring in different flows, but it's the fact that when they make music with the intention of it being something unique. It's not a rap song. It's not an R&B song. they make a fucking song. Like there's
They
even
make
songs
what they
where
make.
the beat switches in the craziest fucking way,
Mhm.
and it's legit like a folk song, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this? But
And like I would just say also, it's with a group like that, it's less how it sounds, but how they made it.
yeah,
Like it's about the story around it. It's about how
Exactly.
this group of people came
came
be.
together.
Like
and-
there's even a video where there's an Instagram live video where they make one of the songs in the album.
that's amazing.
And it's like it's still on YouTube, I think, and it's the song "Stupid," which isn't one of my favorites. It's on Saturation 3.
yeah,
But you watch them, and it's like you see one of the producers on the keyboard, and it starts with like a dun 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 kind of like thing.
yeah.
And you see that, and then it's like, all right, you're done. And then he comes into the room. He's like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
they rap his part. They play it over, and they're like, all right, who's next? And he's like, oh, he's ready.
And then he comes on with a guitar and he's like, let's go. Yeah.
And then, like, last but not least, to add on to the Dylan thing, like, I think that was another big thing of Brockhampton. It was one of those first times that, not the first time that you saw somebody who was similar in age to you or whatever.
You're right. That was big with me.
But it was big for you, but it was also the fact that these were kids that were our age that were making music, like, in a fucking house that 11 of them were, like, sleeping in.
By which they moved. They all had their own houses in Texas. And they all moved to ghetto California.
Yeah. They made these songs off of, like, laptops, you know, like, they really did this from the ground up, grassroots and all, and the music still sounded incredible, and they're a level of collaboration, in my opinion, comes very untouched. So.
I think, like you said, they're very wholesome. Then the level of collaboration, it's just like they work so well together, and like holy shit.
And last but not least, they did break
friendship.
up, but don't be sad because they're putting out one final album, so you still have a chance to be a Brockhampton fan.
And
you still
look how many members there are.
Yeah,
solo albums.
Oh,
they're all
more than sure.
And plus, they're like 4 of them are producers too.
Oh, yeah.
They'll have their hands on everything.
They'll be featuring in people's stuff. It's not like they'll hate
more
each
than
other.
sure. More than sure.
But 4 or 5 for you guys. What are you looking at?
So number 4 to segue from the how stuff was made. This was a yam a few weeks ago, but a Modest Mouse.
Of course.
I don't know why, but there's a part of me that really likes these. Like I don't want to call them like dad rock.
I know what
but
you're
it's
getting
like
at.
Modest Mouse, Queens of the Stone Age. I don't know if you heard of Minus the Bear. They're another band, but it's like kind of like it's almost math rock, but it's like also like alternative.
Would it be weird to call it like modern hippie rock almost?
It's like modern hippie alternative.
Okay, yeah.
You
'Cause
know,
it definitely has more like grunge to it.
Yeah, it has that kind of vibe. But I would say Modest Mouse is one of those bands that it checks all the boxes. It's like very grassroots. It's just a bunch of dudes from the Midwest and Montana and shit and the mountains. And they were like, oh, what if we just made a band? Every album they try to do something different. They kind of fell into like the one hit wonder category in my opinion.
Yeah, Float On, bro.
Because Float On, I mean, it was in like a ton of commercials.
And for what it's worth, I mean, like Dylan said, if I didn't know Dylan, I would only know Float On by Modest Mouse. But of the songs that Dylan has like found and sent me, like because of him, I have like 3 extra Modest Mouse songs on the jam.
And it's like I got weird people into I got Jose into Modest Mouse. Like,
really? Wow.
Yeah, like when I'd be driving home with Jose, and Jose'd be like, "Hey, put this on." Like he'd pick a song, and it'd be like a 9-minute song, but it's like they I would say they do the soft song and the hype song both really well. Like they'll do like a soft folk song that could put you to sleep, and then they'll have a song where it's like, oh. They went fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like anyone, if they had time, they could go home and watch. Pitchfork did a documentary with Modest Mouse where they go over how their song recording got fucked up for one of their albums, and they had to re-record some songs, and they break down how they recorded each song.
Huh.
And that was probably one of the most interesting things to me of how they produced music. Like there was one song where you hear like this weird reverb in the background, and that's because he literally takes the distortion pedal and just steps on it as hard as he can. And he does that throughout the entire song so much that he breaks the pedal.
That's amazing.
So
I love shit like
And the
that.
song just keeps going.
No, and it's in the
pedal.
song. And it's in the song where it's like, and he does it to the beat of the song. So it's like you hear the guitar randomly just like out of nowhere, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And it's because
That's interesting. That's
and
pretty cool.
that album has there's one where like the studio had a bathroom off to the side, and there's parts of the song where he goes to the bathroom and screams. So you'll hear like background yells, and you're like, what is that? Oh,
I thought you were gonna say you hear toilet flushing.
shut up. It's a year guy plunging. No, but yeah, absolutely iconic to me. And then number 5, should I just do number 5
sure.
too? Yeah, number 5 would be The Story So Far. Joey abandoned me because he was on vacation. I believe.
The one concert Joey didn't go to.
But no, they're an incredible band. I talked about it when I talked about the Front Bottoms. They're over 10 years old at this point now, and they were in my top 5 list in the last 2 years. I would say that they're one of those bands that I'm sad I didn't find them when they first came out. But I would say around like the 2015, 2016 range is when I started really getting into this type of music. And I think Joey did too. We bonded quite a bit over that style of pop punk and other bands like that.
Of course, yeah.
I definitely want to see them live again. Now that I've seen them twice within a year, I definitely want to see them more.
Yeah.
Fire.
They are fire, bro.
You got cuatro y cinco.
My number 4, I like I said, my 4 or 5 was the Front Bottoms, and I think I'm gonna choose the Front Bottoms to be number 4, just because, like Dylan said, the raw emotion that they put up in their songs, as well as the crowd just having raw emotions spitting back at the songs.
Yeah. It's just like a crying a loser bridge of just like emotion. And
so I think I'm putting them on number 4 for that reason. Like I'm like that's a good way to like let out emotions and shit. My number 5 is a band that I learned when I went to go see another band called The Real Friends that I also have tatted on me. I love Real Friends, but the vibe is definitely changing since the singer left. And I'm like, I don't want to be those guys like, oh, the singer left, the band's not the same. But I think the singer definitely gave a vibe. But enough about them.
Did, yeah. I even know a little bit about that.
Enough about them. My number 5 spot is going to be Knuckle Puck. Okay. I saw them because of another band, and like I was like, I want more of that band. Like, bring them back out. Like, they were really good. I met the lead singer at the Warped Tour that Dylan and Tatiana went with me. And the guy, his name is also Joey. He's super dope.
He's very cool. I also met him.
He's
cool.
very nice.
Right.
Know. He's very dope. He's very cool. Just, like, cuts the shit and stuff. I got a picture with him, so I was really happy about that.
That's fire.
They're I don't know if they'd be in my top 10, but a very incredible band for sure.
I think I like them because they are really close to being hardcore. I like hardcore music, but at the same time, like, I'm a pretty boy. I like singing. And Knuckle Puck is this like really good balance of like hardcore screaming and then like I'm a sound pretty.
It'll go from screaming to like,
to like a chorus, so like
to like a pop song almost. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I'm like, I really love that blend. Like I could be hardcore and sound pretty. Yeah. Like, that's awesome.
Joey's 2 sides. I imagine Joey with like the old meme where it's like I have two sides. I have 2 sides, and it's Joey with like he's all nice looking, and it's the goth Joey.
One is goth Joey, and the other one is pretty boy Joey.
Yeah.
Fucking. I actually want to change my answer. My number 1 band is actually 303. I think they're the best band to come out.
Damn, bro, are you the hoe? Because I didn't trust you.
No, I mean I'm a vegetarian and I ain't fucking scared of him. So
remember
like
that guy,
one? Like
that guy Kevin that like always said that. Like
yeah.
I'm a vegetarian. And
Robbie, how did you not pick LMFAO as your favorite band?
Black Eyed Peas
in the house tonight.
Oh my god. No, my favorite band is the Aquabats.
Yo, the Aquabats.
My favorite band, Spinal Tap.
I got your kid's teacher. Fucking
the Aquabats are funny, man.
No, thank you for checking out our top 5 bands. It's actually a perfect time to swing it right into Jam and Yam. But I was gonna lastly say I think the important thing to take out of that mini segment was that Dylan was the link there. For Arctic Monkeys for me and him, or for Front Bottoms for him and Joey.
Yeah, no, I had some crossover.
So Joey, fucking, you're not even a J. I get you fucking mixed up. So Dylan is the music guy. That's been settled. You're the music guy.
And also Joey had like 2 other bands I would feel that would fit like honorable mentions. Like Knuckle Puck would definitely be like top 10 for me. So good stuff.
So you ready for Yam and Yam?
Yeah. Jam, Yam.
How would you say that in Spanish? Yummy Yum?
Yum y yum.
Yeah, I was thinking about how the Y
I already
works.
know what it is, what my jam is. I could swing right into it. I just want to get it for sure.
Can I like look at what my yam was?
I know mine already. If you
my jam of the week is gonna go to a song called Coat Check /Session 47 by the artist Nyck. Kind of a new rapper. It has the slash in it because it's one of those rap songs where the first half is a different song than the second half. Both are equally fire. I think I like the first half song a little better, but it's gonna be Coat Check /Session 47 by Nyck. Nyck with a Y.
Very nice. I was looking up my yam from last week just to make sure I didn't like double pick again because like I'll do
I would
that.
remember. I always
I'll do it. But my yam is Sunflower by Ocin.
Okay.
Very good song.
Familiar. No, not that, but just the name.
Yeah, Ocin I think. rapper, very like singy kind of rapper though, R&B kind of style.
I like it.
Yeah, the song is really good. There's one part where it's like the instrumental cuts out and he's just singing, and it's like.
I want to see real quick if I can remember what your yam last week was based off of editing. All I remember is seeing like a church in the picture.
Yeah, it was one of the good old
Class of '68 by Carl B.
Yeah.
There we go.
Love that memory.
My slam was given to me by my girlfriend, who's also goth. You know, old habits die hard. But it's a gothic band from Texas called Rose Garden Funeral Party.
They make goth people in Texas.
Apparently, bro.
There has to be. Yeah.
I saw them live.
Vampires, yeehaw.
You know, there's like normal people in Texas, right? That like move there from other states.
They're yeehaw, dude.
They're all yeehaw.
They're all yeehaw.
First name Yee, last name Haw, baby.
No, I saw them I went to this goth rock show for a band I like, and they opened up for that band. Rose Garden Funeral Party, and the song is Ill and Getting Worse. And it was pretty dope. Gothic. It gives the 80s vibe.
Shit I've ever heard in
my
life.
They just melt on stage.
No, it's a chill vibe.
Black cat silhouetted by a bright red light in a hallway. Like, holy shit, that song is awesome.
Yo, long, dark words.
Thanks for checking out the Joystick show. This was a fun one. I know you guys enjoyed that one.
Very spontaneous.
I could just tell by the eloquence in your voice that you guys got a kick out of talking about some of your favorite music groups.
Music's cool, man.
Definitely can't wait to have Jerry on so we can do the rap ones. That'll be where I flip my side of the coin and I'm like, oh, you know, what's up, motherfucker?
And
like,
then the episode after that, we make music on the show.
Yeah. I'm fucking down, dude. You act like we don't have everything to do.
My girlfriend just goes to her friend's house with instruments, and I was like, oh, you're in a band? She says, no, we just bring instruments and fuck around.
They jam, you see.
Yeah, they
I was
jam.
actually just
That's
playing on my
do.
synth upstairs.
We have like tons of instruments like
yeah,
off
you don't see it
over
off screen,
here,
but
we got some Puerto Rican bongos,
2 acoustic guitars, some bongos, a fucking like 50-something key synth. So yeah, we do be.
What
making
can we make
music
with all these instruments right now?
Some weird EDM salsa, bro.
No, I'm imagining like Spanish music, but instead of like the trumpets, it's the synth. It's something.
Yo, experimental. You never know. We'll beat Bad Bunny.
Yeah, right. Fucking.
We'll get all the
sad
fans.
Bunny. We're gonna be emo bad. He's already emo. It's not the same.
Word.
Anyway, thanks for checking us out. We really appreciate it. You guys are super cute. Oh wow, look at you. Look at this cutie over there. Look at Dylan. Look at that cutie right there. Look at him. Fucking move your head in front because I cropped this video. Yeah, look at him. See? Cutie. Bye.